The Electric Chair. 2D.
Hey, welcome to the Electric Chair 2D. This is episode 4. I'm Midnight Corey. Thank you again for tuning in. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Before I get to anything else, just want to tell you all about my guest. Today I'm speaking with director Gustavo Cooper. You just heard his interview on the Electric Chair audio show here not long ago. But today you're going to be actually seeing the interview, which is really, really cool. You know, he's a great guy. He made a fantastic short film, Velvet Road. And he was just in New York, and he has some great things to say. So you'll get to see that interview here coming up. But I just want to tell you something that's really cool. You know, this week we're just wrapping up Shark Week, which is a big deal. The Discovery Channel does Shark Week every summer, and I'm a big fan of it, although just due to some personal things going on, I haven't been able to tune in very much this year. But coinciding with Shark Week this week is the release of the new Jaws Blu-ray. And guess what I picked up this week? Yeah. Despite I had a lot going on, and I was actually sick. I'm still sick, but who cares? In between doctor visits, I got to pick this up. Now, this is the 100th anniversary Universal release. And, you know, because we all know Jaws was first released in 1912, so this is the Jaws 100th anniversary edition. Now, this is a digipack. This is a Best Buy exclusive. Now, you had to buy this at Best Buy, apparently, to get the Digibook. It comes with a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital download, which is very, very generous of, you know, the big media. So, thank you so much. And I'll tell you what, for buying it at Best Buy, now, I'm not endorsed by Best Buy. I don't work for Best Buy. I don't really care. I do go there because it's convenient. But usually they're pretty expensive. But considering that, you know, I get a DVD, a Blu-ray, a digital download, this awesome book, and it was originally like $25. And then considering I had a $5 coupon, it came in at like $20. So this is a steal for $20. Now, I haven't seen Jaws for like probably a decade, but I love this movie, and it's one of those movies that you don't always think of as a horror movie for some reason, at least I don't. But it is one of the movies that really, really scared me as a kid. Now, I think the first time I saw it was right before my family was going vacationing to the ocean. And I had a hard time getting into the water that year. I really did. And I think that holds true for a lot of people, you know. Nobody wanted to go in the water that year because they didn't know what was going to be creeping down there. And that just shows you how effective this movie is. It's considered one of the greatest of all time. It's one of my favorites of all time. Now, let's go through this. There's a 42-page digibook that this is packaged in. It looks beautiful. We have a lot of great essays about the different actors, directors, producers, writers, things like that. And I'll tell you what, the Blu-ray, man, looks incredible. This is the best I've ever seen Jaws looking, hands down. You put it up on a huge, get yourself a nice 50-inch LCD TV, turn out all the lights, get your surround sound on, and throw this on, man, because it looks great. They went through so many pains, took so much time and effort into restoring this thing. None of the restorations look fake or bad or kind of CG'd in or anything. Everything looks fantastic. It sounds great. Oh, wow. Man, I just can't say enough good things about this. It's just like seeing it for the first time. Yeah. So I think this is a must-see for any Jaws fan. If you're a fan of this, I mean, take $25 and go out and get this. You've probably bought this several times, and I'm happy to say this is the first time that I've bought Jaws. So, thank goodness that, I haven't bought this as many times as I've bought, say, Dawn of the Dead or something. But I'm really glad. I'm hoping that this is the only time that I'll ever buy it until, UHD becomes a standard, and then I got to go out and buy that once they, step it up to there. But who knows? But yeah, the Jaws 100th anniversary. It's the Universal 100th anniversary. I know. It's not Jaws. It's Universal 100th anniversary. But this collector's edition, especially the Best Buy version of it, exclusive, is a steal. So go out and get this. So, all right. Well, thank you for letting me go off about that. But I just needed to talk about that. And again, it's Shark Week, so I had to. So yeah, let's get on with the show. Here's Gustavo Cooper. Well, if you've been keeping up with the Electric Chair website, like I hope you've been, you've seen that my friend Florida Possum recently submitted a review for this really awesome zombie short called Velvet Road. And right now I'm honored to be talking with the director of Velvet Road, Gustavo Cooper. Sir, welcome to the Electric Chair.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you read Florida Possum's review that she put up, but it was very good. She really, really liked Velvet Road. And I have to agree. This was just a fantastic piece of filmmaking. And I'm shocked to see, I look at your IMDb page, and this is like the only thing listed on there. So, first of all, if you could just tell everybody a little bit about Velvet Road, kind of what it's about, without spoiling too much. And then kind of maybe how it came to be, how you came to come into this director role.
Okay, well, I'll start off with what Velvet Road is.
Yeah, that was a lot to lay on you all at once, so I apologize.
Velvet Road is a short film that takes place during the 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement. And there just so happens to be a zombie apocalypse that breaks out during this time. The whole story takes place during this outbreak where this man and woman have to race down this road to try to save their child. And she's been exposed to this virus, and the whole world thinks that the minorities are the one that caused it. So they actually, I don't want to give away all the film, but they don't make it very far. And they end up having a lot of obstacles that they have to overcome. Yeah, and it's a great ride you take us on. It's very nonlinear, very beautiful. Actually, the first thing that strikes you about this, man, is just the artistry visually that went into it. I mean, we see a lot of great visual elements. So how much of that was kind of your doing, your direction? I guess, well, it's all your direction. You were the director. But how much of that, I guess, was your vision as far as the overall look of it, and how much was kind of left up to the DP and maybe art direction, things like that? Well, a little bit of my background. This is actually a great time to kind of introduce where I come from.
Yes.
I was very oriented with the camera for a really long time. I started off shooting skateboarding films and doing a lot of that when I was younger. And I decided that I wanted to see if I could do something with that, and became a filmmaker. After that, I did a bunch of, I guess you would call it assistant work for this guy named Mark Cole, who's a DP, and he does a lot of reenactments for America's Most Wanted.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of where I got my feet wet. I was his AC, and I did a lot of America's Most Wanted. So I've always been a very visual person, and this was actually my first chance of trying to do something narrative. I've done music videos, and I've done skate videos, and I've done commercials, but I've never done anything narrative before. And I wrote this in college, and I approached a bunch of my friends here, and I was like, do you guys want to make this movie with me? And they were like, sure, I guess. You don't really want to make another zombie film. So I kind of had to talk them into it, because none of them wanted to make a zombie film. But I sold them on the idea, and then I got Jonathan Shepard, who ended up producing it, and I got some backing from Dwayne Sykes. He helped me. He executive produced it, and then I approached this guy Andrew Howell, who actually shot it. And before we went into shooting principal photography, I had this idea that I wanted to shoot it like a Western. I've been a lot of There Will Be Blood, and that movie No Country for Old Men.
Mm-hmm.
Those were kind of my influences going into it visually. I was like, I really want bleak, cowboy, country, Western feel to it,
Yeah.
And that's kind of where Andrew and myself met each other in the middle. He was really on board with what I was trying to accomplish, and and he just nailed it. So it was this big collaborative monster that came together, and we made a really pretty zombie movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's to say the least. This thing, it's I think one of the best looking zombie efforts that I've seen out there in a long time. I mean, man, if this is what you do on your first shot at a narrative, dude, I can't wait to see what you got next. This is really, really great. Now, there's a trailer available for it right now. It's on YouTube and Vimeo. So, of course, I'll put all the links up for that where people can watch it. And it's actually on Florida Possum's review.
There's also behind the scennes too.
Oh, I missed that.
I can send you that. And there's also a Indiegogo video and how we went to raising the money to get to where we are today.
Oh, wow.
And that's pretty cool because you see the steps from beginning, like where we were concepting everything and trying to figure out, like, how are we going to get this much money? And I have all the storyboards up there so you can see, like, this is what I was looking at, this is what I wanted to do. And the storyboards actually match pretty freaking close compared to the film. So it's all very exciting.
Wow.
And I can send you all those links as soon as we get done with this.
That would be awesome. I can't wait to watch them, and I'll put them up for everybody that gets on the website, too, because especially seeing this, I mean, we're going to be making people, I think, so excited to go and see this. Now, as far as getting it out there, I mean, you're marketing things right now. Are you looking into any kind of festival circuit kind of thing, or how are you looking to get this out there? Yeah,
we actually, this Thursday, I go up to New York to premiere. It's our world premiere of the film. Nobody's seen it besides you guys and everyone that's done the reviews. And I'm very anxious to see what other people think. So far, I just found this out not even an hour ago. We're nominated for Best Short at the New York City International Film Festival. So,
congratulations!
We're really excited. We've entered over 30 festivals, and we've gotten into 5 so far.
Wow. Man, incredible. Well, congratulations on that. I'll just put a plug in here for my festival. I don't know if you applied to the Erie Horror Film Fest up here in Erie, Pennsylvania, but it's a great film festival that shows some really, really wonderful things. So and check out Erie, because I don't think you'd have a problem. Now, I can't speak for the organization, but if I were the judge of what gets in there, yours would be top billing, man, and you'd be, I mean... This thing is really fantastic. So
I'm not sure if we entered or not, but I can double check. I actually have a little group that's helping me do all the packaging and DVA, which is the company I work for. Mm-hmm. They're helping me launch this film in hopes to get a feature. So we've got everything set up as far as we go up to New York, and there's a market festival that's happening. It's like a market/festival, and one of the days is supposed to be where distributors and producers and all that stuff meet up. So I mean, this is all new to us. You know what I mean? We're like we're kind of freaking out because I mean, I'm pretty young. I just graduated film school in December.
Wow.
And yeah, we're kind of just like, okay, this is going to be fun, I guess. Well,
that's funny because I saw the film and I had never physically seen you before. And it was at the point I didn't even get on your IMDb yet, and I didn't know much about you at all. And so you come up, and I kind of expected to see an older, kind of more seasoned film veteran, a guy that's done a lot of movies, and this is kind of your crowning achievement of your career, that you've been working up towards. But you're just starting out, and you're young. And this is such a breath of fresh air. You mentioned making a zombie movie to your friends. And they were just like, nah, not another zombie movie. You don't want to make one because it's so stale. There's so much out there, and so much of it is bad.
It is.
And
one of the things that really stuck out to me, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan,
Awesome.
fan. And one of the things that stood out to me, and I don't know, I mean, I'm sure everyone out there remembers the girl on the bicycle scene.
Yes.
Where I think it's the second episode. He sees the girl with her legs cut off, and she's crawling across the ground, and I remember that scene where he just like had that moment where he was like, that was a human at one point, and then he goes back later, and I don't want to spoil anyone has seen it, but if you haven't seen it, you're not a true horror fan.
Yeah.
He goes back and he puts her down, and that would to me like was one of the most humanizing pieces of horror zombie genre that I've ever seen. And that was a huge influence for why I started writing this.
I was going to say that scene particularly had to be a direct influence on Velvet Road.
No, it definitely was.
Yeah, and I won't say anything more than that, but I definitely I thought of that very scene, as a matter of fact, when I saw Velvet Road. So, you talk about The Walking Dead, and actually this has a lot of that look of The Walking Dead. Visually, The Walking Dead is very stunning, except now I don't think you used any CG. And if you did, it was maybe like very, very little. Did you use any?
We did a little bit of compositing. The stuff that's in the car is actually shot green screen, and you'll see that in the behind the scenes.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we had a very good special effects team.
Wow.
Zoe Create out of Nashville actually helped us with this. We had some pretty big guys come in, and our producer John Shepard, he was like, he's this guy that's been doing this for a while, and he's kind of he's the main reason why we were able to pull off what we did, because I got a friend, or I got a guy, I know a guy who can do this, I know a guy who can do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they all read the script and were like, yeah, we're on board. So we did that, and then I don't want to ruin the rest of the scene, but or the rest of the film, but there's a couple of things towards the end that were taken out.
Man! Wow. So the behind the scenes stuff is exciting to me, and you mentioned so you're looking to possibly, hopefully, flush this out to like a feature kind of thing.
We've got the feature flushed out. Actually, it's written, it's ready to go. It's very cool, and I'll mention one thing. If it does get made, I think we'll be the first people to have KKK zombies.
Wow. Yeah, because we've seen a lot of Nazi zombies. It's like, how much more evil can you get than Nazi zombies? Well, the KKK zombies, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right there.
I hope nobody steals that.
Well, hey, it's right here. You did it first, so anybody else that does it's ripping you off, man. So it's on the record. But
we're very excited. We've got everything ready. We've got a pitch book together. It's very cool. It looks kind of like a comic book.
Wow.
I don't have it. It comes in tomorrow. If I had it, I'd show it to you. But the whole premise behind the film is to take the idea of ignorance and the idea of racism and the idea of blaming just people for anything, you know what I mean? Right. Without having any information or any reasoning for doing those things that we have done in the past, and even some of the things that we do now, So that's really the message we were trying to get across. I'm a zombie fan. I'm not a huge zombie fan or a big horror fan, but we're just, we wanted to try to tell a cool story in a different way. Yeah. And that's kind of where our film came from. It was like we were trying to do something different, I guess, without being too different.
Yeah.
Without saying it directly, is that hatred is what spawns these zombies. It's not. We're not saying that the disease comes from people that just hate and then they become zombies. But if you notice, anyone that became a zombie in the film had some sort of hatred or some sort of fear or something that was thrown onto them. And that was kind of the idea we were playing with, is like, what if hatred was so strong that it could just change who you were, And we see that all the time. If anyone has seen the movie Mississippi Burning, that was a huge influence on the film.
Wow. Yeah.
We really wanted to play with I'm from Florida. I will always say that nobody will ever change that. And anybody from Florida knows that if you're not white, you're something else.
Wow.
And sometimes it's really subtle, and sometimes it's not. Actually, the story came from this story that I had heard from my grandmother, and she lives in a place called Live Oak, and Live Oak is a very small town in south of Jacksonville, Florida, where I live, and about 30 years ago, there was a kid who was lynched for whistling at a white woman. And I was sitting with my grandmother, and we were at this spring, and I jumped in the spring and came out, and she told me the story about how they found the body down by the spring about 30 years ago, and it was crazy to her that people even were still doing that, you know?
Right.
And
right.
I went home with that feeling really creepy that I just jumped into this
Yeah.
you know, there's a dead body floating around in there, and I wanted to try to write something that I could make. So I went home and I was like, hey, I'm going to try to make something that's tangible that I can do, and it can take place somewhere where there's not a whole lot of locations and there's not a whole lot of extras I have to bring in, and I wanted to try to make something that was just strong and emotional with as few characters as I possibly could. So that's kind of where that all came from.
Yeah, you did that so well. And whenever I asked you, we were emailing back and forth, and I was asking you, you know, what influenced you? You know, there's some movies that did. And, you know, the two that you came up with were The Walking Dead and, of course, Mississippi Burning. And those two are blended perfectly. I think, you know, you took a lot of the fear and the hatred and just the atrocities. I mean, this so much, especially you watch the Mississippi Burning, and it's so atrocious, the things that happen, just the outright hatred and the racial things that went on that I don't think a lot of people, especially us Yankees, you know, up here, I'm in Pennsylvania, you know, and I haven't really been immersed in that, I guess, that segment of culture.
Yeah,
and
it's a different feeling. I mean, I grew up in I guess I went to some nicer schools. My dad was like a maintenance man at a condo place, and we got to live there for free. But everyone else was like super wealthy, and I heard like parents being like, "Oh, you know, he's not allowed in here," and it was just because I want to say it was the color of my skin and our class level. Like we just didn't have a lot of money. You know, I never walked away from those moments going, I hate these people because of that. I was just more or less like, as I grew older, I started to understand what divided us. And I think the idea of the film is to really take that idea and take the separation of classes and the separation of skin color and play with that. You know, what if a zombie apocalypse broke out during this time? You know, they would blame the people that are the easiest to blame, and I mean, we've done that forever. You know, first it was, you know, I remember when AIDS was the big epidemic. You know, and it was the blacks and it was the gays, and then, you know, and I don't know if you remember, but like even as far as medieval times, like the Black Plague was blamed on like witches and Jews and stuff like that. So it was like, you know, it's just, I don't know why. I mean, I guess Romero explored that idea a little bit, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
He had his character in the first film, but when I watched an interview about it, and people were like, you know, that was such a great message that you had your lead actor as a black male. He was like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. He was just the best actor out of my friends.
Yeah, it's actually funny because the you know, the role of Ben in that movie originally, as it was written, he was supposed to be a lot kind of dumber. He was kind of the dumb trucker kind of guy. He was not supposed to be portrayed as like the intelligent African American guy, you know, that really was the only one that had his head on straight throughout the whole movie,
right,
and
pulled everything together.
yeah, yeah. And so originally it was written as he was just kind of your stereotypical, you know, black guy from the '60s. But you know, of course, you know, Dwayne Jones comes in and he completely changed it and did a brilliant job, transformed that character, and really, I think, made a statement for that point in time. But so yeah, it is funny how he did change that role though, and yeah.
Our actors that actually came in, I don't know if you recognize any of them, but Tom Martin was our main actor, and he played Bobby. He was actually the I don't know if you've seen the Heineken Light commercials with the bare knuckle boxing and the handlebar mustache.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's him.
No way.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
him. Yeah, he's actually does really well with commercial work, and he's done a bunch of short films. And John was actually a buddy of his, and he approached him with the script, and he came on board. But he really transformed that character that we wrote from. We didn't want to make him like this bigot guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
We wanted it to be more like he was in that society and he understood that, you know, I'm not supposed to like you. I don't know how to feel about this right now, you know, but I have other things going on. You're the least of my worries. And he took that and actually gave it this thing where you could, he gave it a feeling that you could really relate to in being in that situation, you know? So I love what he did. And then our character, Miles, he's actually a local talent here in Jacksonville. He used to have dreads down, like, all the way down his back. And he actually cut them all off for that role.
Wow.
Growing them for like 10 years or something. I was so freaked out. And he's like, I had to approach him and go, hey man, will you cut those dreads? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I talked to my producer. I think we're going to have to recast this. I don't want to make him. And he's like, no, he's great. And I'm like, I know, but I just feel so bad. That he's... And I'm so happy that he did. Because he was awesome, you know? And then Heather Ricks was the other girl that she was our lead actress. And if you watch anything that Heather Ricks has done, this is completely out of her ordinary. She is a very, very good girl. So, yeah. She'd never seen a zombie film before. She had never seen any horror film. That she doesn't watch that stuff. Actually made her watch The Walking Dead, and I made her watch 27 or 28 weeks later, and I made her watch like Day of the Dead, and I just gave her like a bunch of zombie films. I think here.
Awesome.
That was her first time ever. So she in like, you know, a month, a zombie expert by the end of it.
Oh my gosh.
And then the police officer in our film, Steve Azell, worked at a comic book shop down the street from me.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, hey dude, do you want to be a zombie in the And he's like,
wow.
Yeah.
Man, you pulled together some great talent, man, because they all did a great job. I'm watching it, and I'm like, I know this is like a real indie effort here. And, you know, sometimes in these sort of things, some actors are better than the others, you know, and I realize that you cast a lot of friends and stuff. But there is no actor that I thought was weak at all. I think they all were very strong in their performances. They all did really, really well. And that, I think, has a lot to say for you, being able to recognize putting people into the right roles and directing them and letting them kind of explore that and express it on film. So great job.
Thank you. It was actually, like I said, it was my first time really directing a narrative. I've done music videos, I've done commercials. So pulling talent, it was really intimidating because especially with Tom. I mean, Tom's been on national spots, and I've done like a couple, you know, national things. But at that time, I was like, you're on a different level than I even understand. So like, right before we're shooting, like as we're shooting, I'm a senior in college. I'm taking 6 classes. I've got all my finals coming up. My I shot it on my birthday, which was a weird thing. And I'm like studying how to, like, I'm not even worrying about school. I'm studying how to direct actors that know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So I'm learning all these techniques and going, okay, how am I going to approach? I was freaking out. Like I had no idea what I was going to do.
Man.
So I don't remember who said it, but directing is 50% casting or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just write guys in there, and Courtney Gardner actually was our casting director. She did a really great job of helping me with that, getting me the talent that I needed, and she was amazing. She's actually an actress herself, so she recognized talent when she saw it, and she helped a lot with that. So it was cool. Like after everything was said and done, I was really looking for Tom to tell me, like, how'd I do? You know what I mean? And he was really happy with it. So
awesome.
Yeah, like I said, we all go up to New York next week. It'll be the first time I've seen Tom since it's been about a year. We stay in steady contact, but it's been about a year since I've seen him. So we're going to reunite and go up to New York and try to sell it as a feature and win some awards, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, I wish you luck with all that, man. I like, seriously, I don't see how you could have a problem getting this at least sold, let alone, win some awards for this, because on just so many levels, this is a great, great short, and I just can't wait to see where you go with it, especially you got to get that feature made. Oh, man. You got me like chomping at the bit.
That's what I want to do that so bad, and I've had people ask me, what if like somebody goes, hey, I want to buy this from you.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to go for how much, you know what I mean? But
right.
The other part of me is never, like, I'll try to make this if I can, I'll just say this, I'm not going to say the number, but we could do it if I had the right people help me independently,
Yeah.
I've got everyone in line that worked on the short ready to go. Most of them. This was our cinematographer's first shot at a narrative. This was a lot of firsts for us. Mm. So everyone's really anxious to see where it goes, and we've had nothing but great feedback so far.
So this being your first time doing this, and you worked with a lot of talented people, and I think so much of the stars aligned on this. Just the right people, the right time, and of course you obviously you have a knack for this, a natural talent. But what was your biggest challenge? Was there a point when you were making Velvet Road and you're just like you hit some sort of a wall? You're like, oh man, what do I do from here? This is my first thing. I have no idea. Is this,
yes.
Was there any kind of major catastrophe, or I guess what was maybe your biggest challenge?
There was two things for me. One of them was the film was actually scheduled to be made early October, and we couldn't raise the money. We couldn't get enough money to do it. And we didn't think we were going to make the film. So after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I say about a week and a half to 2 weeks, my producer, John, was like, we did everything we could. We raised a little bit more money, and he was, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this thing, but he was just
Go for it.
Fuck it, dude, we're going to make it. I was like, all right.
Wow.
I started to get really bummed, I was like, this is going to suck. I had all these people donating money and giving us money, and we just couldn't get enough cash, and he really came through for us. So, we owe a lot to him to make this film and pulling everything together. If I didn't have him, there's no way it would have turned out the way it did. Yeah. So that, and then I have this really, really bad problem with when I have to do things the day before, I don't sleep. I'm really nervous. Mm-hmm. So the first day of shooting, I didn't sleep at all. And I woke up and I was like, holy crap, I feel awful. I didn't even wake up. What am I saying? I got up from laying in bed for
right.
and couldn't function.
Yeah.
You know, so I haven't drank caffeine in about 7 years. That shoot, I drank 8 Cokes. And
Wow.
really weird caffeine. Like I don't drink it. I'm
Yeah.
really just I makes me jittery and all that stuff. But to survive, because I didn't sleep those 3 days, I had to keep drinking Coke and caffeine and stuff. Literally felt like I was having like some sort of mental breakdown by the end of the shoot.
Wow.
So that for me was just very. That was a big hurdle. I know that sounds weird, but if you are a director or a producer or anything like that, you know how that feels. You know, a lot of people I talk to, they do that too. They're like, "Yeah, I don't sleep the night before a shoot," and I'm like, "How are you doing all the time?" I've been, much more. We made it a year ago. I've gone on to do a lot of national stuff, and it gets easier. Yeah. You realize that you're not just some guy out there going, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna,
Right.
So, I mean, it's one thing I learned is 50% act like you know, or 50% talent, and the rest is act like you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Exactly. You're in there. You got it under control. You know what you're doing. Just you go in and make it happen.
And it's fine. As soon as you turn around, you can go, "Oh my God, I can't believe they bought that." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, yep, I got this. This is you're on. You can turn around and act all, doubt whatever you want to do. Just don't let them see you. Don't let them see about yourself.
Right. Oh, exactly. So, man, this has been great. Now, you're going out there, you're going to get this thing sold, you're going to win some awards, but what else? Are you working on any other projects right now outside of this?
Well, I've got some scripts that I've written that are, probably way out of my budget and scope of work right now that I would like to hold on to. But I was talking to somebody today, and there's this film that I wrote a while back that I think I might bring back, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not because I'm waiting to see what happens with this. Mm-hmm. But I will say that it's like Paranormal Activity meets Drag Me to Hell.
Ooh, so you looking maybe the found footage kind of thing?
It's like it's a found footage thing about a couple who visits this gypsy town called Casadega, and we're gonna call the film Casadega.
Nice.
And it's basically they go there and it's a newlywed couple and they get cursed and all this crazy stuff happens to them, and it's like got this Paranormal Activity feel to it.
Awesome.
So I haven't. It's like very, very early stages. We haven't even pitched the idea to anybody or talked to anybody, but it's kind of like I know I could do it and do it really easily and do it fun and it'd be something to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the rest of the stuff I've got going on is like just so giant that millions of dollars to execute it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope, and I think, if you keep going the way that you were going, man, with Velvet Road, I don't think you're going to find that sort of thing quite so difficult to achieve in the future. I think some people have confidence.
Right.
No, I do. Right. I enjoyed it so much, and I was so pleasantly surprised with the quality and the great storytelling, and that you explored the deep themes like the racial things and hatred and fear in the Deep South in the 60s. Without getting cheesy and just like beating me over the head with it, and really having an agenda. Like you didn't have an agenda. I mean, you were just kind of making a statement of things going on at that point in time. And I think really telling a great story, being realistic about it. And man, I just got to thank you for making a great short here. And again, I'm just going to say it like a million times on the show. I just can't wait to see the feature, man, and I can't wait to see this all over the place, and for you, I think really making some waves here in the community. So
Thanks.
Well, man, of course, all these links are going to be up, like I said, in the show notes for the trailer, the behind the scenes, all these fun clips that you're going to send me, which I really appreciate. Of course, I'll have your IMDb up. and you're on Twitter. I got to talk to you on Twitter and Facebook. And can I tell the funny story about me like completely screwing you up in Facebook as far as like posting the thing about that review? I said Florida Possum gives this great review, and I meant to say Velvet Road. But right before I made that post, and this is just me doing way too many things on Facebook all at the same time, I was talking with a friend of mine about the song No Rain by Blind Melon. Because there's a musician that just did a cover of No Rain, and it was really cool. And so I was talking about it with this other guy. And then I decided, I'm going to post on Facebook about Florida Possum's review. And I didn't call it The Velvet Road on Facebook. I called it Velvet Rain, which is a completely different movie. You know,
it's an awesome movie.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But I have to apologize to you for that I was just thinking about way too many things, and I called it The Velvet Rain. And then, of course, Purple Rain all came up, and I'm singing, Velvet Rain, and things, and just had some fun with it. But I'm sorry I screwed up the title on Facebook.
No problem. No problem. I've had a couple of people ask me, which is, I know this sounds kind of pompous, but they're like, where did you get the title for Velvet Road? And I was like, I don't know, man. It just sounded cool, like.
No, I think thinking about the end of the movie, and again, I'm not going to give anything away, but I think visually, there's a certain zombie, there's a certain character, and there's a certain kind of trail of blood that we're seeing. That's exactly the connotation I made.
That's what the trail of blood is really where we derive the name from. What was cool is my girlfriend actually the last day of shooting was my birthday, and I don't know if you listen to the band TV on the radio, but
a little bit.
They were in town. And it's one of my favorite bands, and I didn't get to go see him because we were shooting still principal photography, and I was really bummed. So she threw this surprise party for me, which was like the wrap party, and she got me a red velvet cake with like a zombie red velvet cake.
No way! Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was a surprise party, and I never had anything like anyone do anything like that. So it was really cool. The cast was there, the crew was there, and that was our wrap party. It was my surprise birthday party.
Oh, I love it, man. That sounds great.
Yeah, good time. So I mean, this is my first like experience of doing something like this, and it's definitely. I mean, I don't know many filmmakers that have had that cool of an experience making their first film. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, and you should be proud of the results, and again, what's coming ahead. So, where else can we find out more about you on the internet? Are there other websites out there other than what I've mentioned?
Well, if you Google Gus Cooper, a whole nother identity comes out, and that's me when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, it's me when I skateboarded and traveled and did all that stuff. And there's like skate videos of me and like bios of me with all my sponsors and stuff. And then that's one way, which is pretty funny because you can see like just I guess young me, which is I'm 28 now, or I'm about to be 28, and so this is like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But then Google El Gustavo Cooper. That's actually why I separated the two.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's, you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And I work for a company, like I said, DVA. We do stuff all the time. Like, if you check my Vimeo, there's we play around with stupid things. Like I'm a huge Futurama fan. Like that's one of my favorite things. I have like over 20 some odd characters, like you know what I mean, like figurines. Like I collect them, and
right.
I got like a Bender Yahtzee game the other day.
Oh wow, I love it.
But I'm always posting stupid stuff like that. Me and my friends at work, we made a little Bender short where like one of the employees freaks out and he runs out of the room, and we run outside, and there's a big bender in this lake, like it's positive, and he's laughing and saying "destroy all humans" and stuff. I don't know. Anyways,
I love it, dude. You said like you're super creative, and it just sounds like you like to have fun, man. And that's what I like to see. And then you can go out and make something that's completely awesome, like this. So
that's all. At the end of the day, I just want to make cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all. I don't really care about money and all that stuff, really. As long as I can make really cool stuff and make people laugh or make people cry or just evoke an emotion, that's really, like, it's a big payoff for me, because it's like I got to somebody somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we just we like to. I mean, even everyone that I'm involved with, that's all they want to do is, like, you know, if we can pay our bills, great. But if we can make something really cool, that's what we want to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, man, thank you again for making this and just putting, sacrificing so much to make Velvet Road and just putting out something that was really entertaining for me and breathes some new life into the zombie genre that is so horrible for the most part right now. And
I like zombie films, but I definitely I'm very glad that we did it, and I'm very happy that you like it. And we didn't set out to do anything crazy or special. We just wanted to try to make the best film we possibly could with what we had. So
yeah, and you did that very well. So thanks again, man, and I hope we can keep in touch, and you'll keep me up to date about what's going on. I can't wait to hear about what happens in New York. I will be.
We could do like a follow-up thing if you'd like, and I
would
tell
love
you,
to.
That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, so let's plan on it. But Gustavo, man, it's been a blast talking with you and meeting you here. And like I said, good luck in New York, man, and hopefully we'll talk again here real soon.
Thanks.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you soon.
All right, good night.
Good night.